Hey everyone, just wanted to quickly let you know that the first story in this list is going to be providing video evidence, so be on the lookout for that. Other than that, enjoy the video. Hi there, this story is going to be very short. I don't really know if this even belongs on the No Sleep subreddit, but it's something that happened to me last week and I feel like it's necessary to be shared. So, I'm a 9th grade English teacher, and I'm currently teaching my students about poetry. About 2 weeks ago, I was regularly searching around Craigslist when I ended up finding someone who was selling a box of VHS tapes on Edgar Allan Poe. Since we were learning about poetry, I thought this would be the perfect thing to show my class since all of our classrooms still have VCRs in them. I contacted the guy selling the tapes, let's call him Carl, and he told me that he would be able to get them to me by the 23rd of January. Fast forward to the 31st when I get the package delivered to my front door. Literally 2 minutes after that, I get a call from Carl that went something like this. He had a really weird voice. Hello?
Has it come yet?
Sorry?
They're probably already there, huh?
Who is this?
It's Carl. The tapes. Did you get them yet?
Yeah, I just got them now. The call went on like this for 5 minutes. In between the call, the phone kept breaking up, so he had to keep calling back. It was from a different number. He had called me from like 4 numbers, so yeah, this is already shady. That part had nothing to do with the meat of the story, I just felt like sharing it because of how creepy the incident was. But I ignored it because I thought, you know what, I got a big old box of tapes that I'm going to show to the class. The box I got came with about 20 tapes on Poe, which was perfect. I tested them all out to see if they were working and appropriate to show to the class. All of them seemed fine except for one. The tape had been labeled Edgar Allan Poe, A Light and Enlightening Look. But that didn't seem to be what it was. I'm assuming that someone had overwritten the tape with their own recordings because most of them consisted of Nickelodeon shows and other weird recorded things straight off of TV. I would guess that this tape was used around 2005 to 2006 based on the TV shows that were recorded on it, rather than some questionable weird kind of clips on the tape, including the scene from Cube Zero where the guy's flesh starts falling off of his body. It wasn't really scary to me considering I've seen the movie many times before. It was nothing particularly creepy, but I did get a really weird vibe from it, especially at the end. The video is about 3 minutes long, which is a little unusual for most tapes. Let me know what you think. And yes, I am a very techie person, even though I'm a high school teacher, so I was able to record the tape off my VCR to show here. Here it is.
I know, shadow, I know you know, gentlemen, you obey, only listen to
Price. Oh, yeah, that's very tempting, but my husband already has a full set of grandchildren.
I'm not jealous or anything, because we're all like a big family here and all that. Hey, Calvin. It's Keenan.
short thornberry break.
Hi, Larry here, and this is my sister Lucy. But this
I don't have a YouTube account, and I didn't want to go through all the Google Plus crap just to upload one video, so it's on Vimeo instead. Anyways, that was the story. Thank you all for listening. The following story is told in the perspective of a female. Me and my girlfriend Stacy were looking for a small house outside of the city. After years of living in a cramped apartment, we decided we were finally ready for an upgrade, and with her just getting her new promotion, we knew it was time to start looking for a place with an extra room she could use for the office. We decided to look on Craigslist to see if we could find anything that wasn't too expensive. After a bit of searching, we found a 2-bedroom house on the Upper West Side of Roeder, just a few minutes from where we were living at the time. I called the number in the description and a man picked up on the other end of the phone. We talked for a while about the house and the cost of the rent. But then he started asking me some pretty bizarre questions. He asked me how much I weighed and when my birthday was. Then he said if I wanted to come, I could just give him my address so he could come pick me up himself. I told him it wasn't any trouble and that I would go around 10 a.m. next Saturday. Unfortunately, Stacy had gotten a call from the hospital earlier this morning, which meant I had to go check out this house alone. What I originally thought was going to be a 3-mile drive ended up to be about a 5-mile drive. At first I thought I had taken a wrong turn somewhere because I couldn't see any houses that looked like the one in the ad, but after a while of driving around some more, I saw the house with a long, twisty road leading up to it. The house looked just like it did in the advertisement, white with a grayish-blue roof and an open garage. I pulled into the driveway and got out of my car. I walked up to the front of the door and knocked. No response. I knocked again. A little louder this time. Still, there was nothing. Strange. I waited for a good 10 minutes before an old black Nissan Maxima pulled into the driveway. A big, dark-haired man who looked to be in his 50s stepped out of his vehicle. His clothing was stained and torn in places, and he flashed me a practically toothless grin. I was a bit creeped out at this point, but we shook hands and he ushered me into the house. When I got inside, I was a bit surprised to see it was entirely empty, unlike in the pictures where it was fully furnished. He offered to take my purse into the kitchen while he was showing me around, but I told him I'd rather hang on to it. After he showed me the bedrooms and bathrooms, I told him I better get going because my girlfriend was probably getting worried about me. As I turned to leave, he grabbed my arm, almost violently, and told me that he still needed to show me his basement. Now, I'm a pretty big woman myself, clocking in at about 5'9", but he was even bigger. I decided to go with it, knowing that if I needed to shove him to the ground and get the hell out of there, I could in a heartbeat. He opened the door at the end of the hallway, and instantly I got a bad feeling. He stood behind me, blocking my path, a big, ugly smile plastered on his face. I took a few steps deeper into the basement and suddenly got hit with a small bomb of rotted meat. I knew something was wrong. I needed to get the hell out of there, and right on cue my phone started ringing. It was Stacy. I asked him if I could go upstairs and take it. Suddenly, the big, toothy grin on his face twisted into a frown. After a few seconds of still standing in the doorway, he smiled again, but this time it was a small, gentle smile, and told me it was okay for me to take my time. I went back upstairs, walking slowly and calmly as possible. The second he turned around to close the door, I ran out of the house and hopped in my car. I waited for a while to see if he was coming after me, but he didn't. I jammed my key into the ignition and took off. After I got home, I told Stacy everything that happened and she said that we would call the police. They told us that they would send a few officers down there and if they found anything out of the ordinary, they would ring us up. It was about 10 o'clock at night by the time they called back. Me and Stacy were already in bed, but I decided it was too important to ignore. I truly wish I hadn't picked up the phone. What they told me would haunt me forever. It turns out the man who was renting out the house didn't even live there at the time. It was actually owned by a couple that was on vacation. They told me it looked like he had been living there for a while. One of the rooms is full of old containers of rotting food and ripped up bed sheets, not to mention the alcohol bottles full of urine. But that's not the point that scared me the most. At the bottom of the basement were the bodies of 3 other women, all of them bruised and bloody. Some of their appendages were bent and twisted in unnatural positioning, as if someone had pushed them down the stairs.